My name is Ranjit Hoskote. I have a hybrid practice, so I'm a poet, a cultural theorist, and a curator. So much of what I do has to do with the literary arts and the visual arts. You know, in an age of globalization, where there is such a high degree of interdependence among continents and societies, and there's such a lot of mobility of people and ideas and goods and services, it no longer makes any sense to talk about East and West. In fact, the newly developing centers of the world, if you will, are very, very widely dispersed. I mean, China is an important center, but China's fate is linked to that of the US. And if you're talking about Europe, there is a vast immigrant origin population in Europe, which has deep links in Africa and in Asia. So East and West are far from being opposites today. They're actually interdependent and interpenetrated to a degree that you can't really distinguish them. So what we're looking at is two major trends across the world, no matter where you are. You could be in Chicago, you could be in Munich, you could be in Venice, you could be in Bombay, you could be in Amhara. It's going to come to the same thing. There's on the one hand the forces of repression who want to narrow our imagination, who want to control our thinking, and who want to lay down the rules by which you live. And that's a very dangerous tendency. And on the other hand are individuals and communities that want to hold on to the freedom of action, to the freedom of choice, and to the widening and enriching of the imagination. That is the only difference there is wherever you are in the world. I think actually all of the practices that I'm involved in are equally challenging and stimulating. Otherwise I wouldn't be in them. So I've somewhere described my activity as being like a starfish. So if there's poetry, there's the curating, there's the cultural theory, and there's also the concern with writing on individual artistic practices. All of these are interrelated, and they're all autonomous, and they're all equally demanding for me. They stretch different parts of my thinking and my imagination. They also involve me in different kinds of life worlds. So the world of the studio, the world of the writing desk, the world of publishing, the world of the exhibition. So to me, they're all equally part of what I do. As far as my poetry is concerned, there's more or less a single process, which is that I work with fragments and notations that I build up like a secret archive, and that sort of accumulates in my notebooks. And at some point, I look back at what I have and begin to process that into complete poems. I love Twitter. I actually chose Twitter over Facebook because for the longest time, actually, I wasn't interested in social media. And I certainly didn't want to be on Facebook, so I moved directly to Twitter, and I think it's actually a marvelous platform. Also because it creates a certain discipline. The 140 characters, it works for me as a poet because there is a spatial and a kind of metric discipline to work with.